Hello and welcome to All the Rage Sports Podcast. This is Jesse, your host, as per usual, along with my fellow colleagues, Jace Junk, Kevin Robinson, and Andy Stewart. Today we're going to talk a little bit about our week one, talk about our picks, recap each game, talk about our hot takes for each thing. What's going to be, what we're buying into, what we're selling on all the hype that's going on after week one, because a lot of crazy stuff happened. And we were wrong about a lot of stuff. So we're going to recap some of our picks. We're going to talk about some of our predictions and see who was right, who was wrong. We're going to move into our rage segment where we're going to talk about what pisses us off and grinds our gears the most. And then we're going to look into our week two predictions. This all coming at you on All the Rage Sports Broadcast. All right, everybody. Welcome. Today we're just going to start right off the bat. Just jump right into each game. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened or what didn't happen, and then we're going to move on. So, start off with our Thursday night game. We had the lovely Packers. The game that was probably the most boring game of the week. How did you guys feel about the Packers-Bears? Packers taking the Bears 10-3.
I agree with Aaron Rodgers. It's really great that they have a good defense.
Defensive battle. I mean, that's all it was.
Well, I mean, every single one of us picked the Bears on that one, and who really expected Trubisky to come out as poorly as he did?
Well, who expected the Packers to have a defense?
Yeah, I was just about you took the words out of my mouth.
It's a lot of it.
Packers defense wasn't supposed to be good, and I mean Trubisky, all he had to do was beat 10 points with his defense, and he couldn't do it. So,
ouch.
Well, that was exactly it. It was, and here's my take on it, and I want to know where you guys' takes are. Is Trubisky this bad? Or are we chalking it up to something of the fact that he didn't play a single snap in the preseason? He didn't have any kind of chemistry build up with any of his offense. Is it Trubisky's bad, or is this just like, this is essentially preseason week one for them?
It's preseason week one because what did Aaron Rodgers do? I mean, did Aaron Rodgers set the world on fire? No. He didn't really do much either. It was a defensive struggle. Trubisky is just working off some little bit of ring rust, but at the same time, Mitch Trubisky is not Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a little bit less.
Yeah. Water is wet.
Water is wet.
Well, he's just, Mitch Trubisky is not Aaron Rodgers. He's stating the obvious. Let's move on.
Yeah. Yes. So I think the big thing is, so are we expecting Trubisky to improve, I guess, is the best thing. Is that something that you're going to buy into, or are you selling on that one?
I am actually buying into that. I think he just looked way unprepared for it was an NFL football game, and he just looked like he was in outer space. I mean, he had no idea where he was at.
No chemistry with his offense whatsoever.
And it was just, he was making rookie mistakes, and it was just, I think, I mean, he's batting down the hatches, and I think he'll improve greatly this week, I guess.
What do you guys think, Jace?
He's one of my sells. I really don't think. Just too many new pieces, especially David Montgomery. That's way too many people in that backfield. Mike Davis getting carries now. And Trubisky just looked very uncomfortable. He was, under pressure all the time.
Right.
And, I mean, like I said, this defense is going to give him a chance, but he's got to perform.
All right, Kevin, what do you think? Buying or selling? Is Trubisky bad, or is this just
No, I'm buying that he's going to get better because, for one reason alone, you can't get any worse than he was.
Very true. Very true.
Well put.
All right.
Well, nope, that's wrong. He could have been Jameis Winston.
True.
We'll get there.
We all picked the Bears in that one. We missed our first week one game. Next, one of our 1 o'clocks, Eagles and Redskins. Deshaun Jackson came out of I can't really say he came out of nowhere, but he lit them up with 2 big touchdown catches. We kind of talked about this a little bit where we thought he was going to do well, but we didn't expect him to do that well right off the bat, I guess is what I'm saying. Wentz looked great. 32-27 win over the Redskins. Was this a game that kind of showed that maybe Haskins is going to be starting sooner or not? Or I felt that Keenum did relatively well in that game. What do you think? Jace, give me a hit on that.
Go ahead, Jace.
I am buying Case Keenum at this point. Offensive line didn't play very well. Darius Guice, 10 carries, 18 yards. Chris Thompson was 3 for 10. I mean, he didn't play very well at all. But Case Keenum was 30 for 44, 380 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Obviously, the defense let him down late in the game. The Eagles came back and took it. But, I mean, I think he showed a lot of poise. Like I said, line played okay, didn't play great from what I saw. I didn't watch the whole game, I have to admit. But I saw enough to, if they continue to protect him and maybe the running backs are a little bit more productive, there's no reason he shouldn't keep the job. Knock on wood.
So we're buying into Case Keenum.
I'm with you. I knock on wood as well.
I'm actually buying into Case Keenum too, but depending on how many games like if they go on a slide or something, I mean Case Keenum played well, but I could see Dwayne Haskins taking snaps if they go on a slide or if they start losing games or if they start out 0-4. Or...
That was going to be my point on them too. It seems like it's going to be a slippery slope this year where if something starts to go wrong, are they going to abandon ship on Case Keenum quickly? And are they going to put him as the blame?
I don't think they'll put him as the blame, but I think Dwayne Haskins will get snaps. I mean, Case Keenum played... he played competently. I mean, he, like you said, he didn't have the best offensive line, and he still, he had 380 yards and 3 touchdowns. So,
yeah.
I mean, what more can you ask? I mean, Jameis Winston is an NFL quarterback. So,
yeah, and his receiving corps consisted of Terry McLaurin, who had 5 receptions for 125 and a touchdown.
Came out of nowhere.
Vernon Davis, emotional return after the death of his grandfather, hurdled like 3 guys and absolutely horrible tackling early by the Eagles and went big for a touchdown. But yeah, other than that, he really didn't have anybody else. So good game by him.
Vernon Davis isn't like 47 years old.
Like Frank Gore.
He had his little revival by going to Washington.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
parents must have had him young.
I'll start off what I have to say on the topic by stating that in Lincoln Financial, he was born and raised. In the end zone is where he spent most of his days. Djax is back. I actually had no faith in Djax.
This was the guy that last week was like, "Oh yeah, they signed Djax, woohoo!" And now
Kevin, piece of shit.
He's all like,
yeah. Oh my God, Steve Jobs broken finger. Oh my God, let's talk about no names. Shut up.
You were talking about his knees being sawdust, and you're over here sucking on him right now.
Hey, I believe we all picked the last game wrong, and I definitely picked Djax not being any good wrong. So I'm owning up to my mistake.
In my league, so
Djax
I was going to say
multiple leagues.
I called he was back, but everybody said I was an idiot, right?
What I will say though is that there's going to be another resurgence this week, I believe, that's going to assist Case Keenum. Jace just went through the stats on what their running backs did earlier. Guice didn't have a good game. Thompson didn't have a good game. But Adrian Peterson, who consistently showed last year that he still had the legs to carry the load, is going to be playing next week.
Yep.
A lot of the talk since Sunday has been that it was that everybody thought Jay Gruden was disrespecting him by not even having him start or dress for the game. He was inactive. But it wasn't so much that. It was that they had one guy who was a run between the tackles guy, and the rest of the guys were either catching out of the backfield and playing on special teams. And so you can only you need people for special teams. Adrian Peterson obviously is not playing special teams. So
absolutely.
I think, and Adrian Peterson has said that he's been fine the whole time. He hasn't taken any issue with anything that's been said or done. So I think it's a non-factor. I think Washington will look a little bit better. Case Keenum will get a little bit of a reprieve from all the rushing.
I think that this team looked a lot better than we all kind of gave them credit for early. So
I
think
called
this
them a
is
500
gonna
team.
Yeah, well, you called everybody a 500 team. But no, I think that this team actually shows some potential, and Keenum's kind of looking like, Vikings Keenum a little bit there. So,
Well, the big
It's a
don't know.
good
test will
system
be
fit.
big test will come next week at home against the Cowboys. So
Absolutely, Cowboys look
Yep.
great, and we are going to get to
Also-
that game soon.
Also, real quick, I disagree on Haskins getting any snaps. The Grudens are notorious for when they make a decision, they stick with the decision.
That's true.
So I think.
oh yeah,
Case
John
Keenum's their
Gruden's
starter.
really known for that.
I think
We aren't trading Khalil Mack.
Well,
Good stuff.
that wasn't his fault. That was Reggie McKenzie.
Ouch.
Okay, so for that game, we actually all picked the Eagles, so we all got a win on that one. So that was a good kudos for all of us. Moving on to the next game, we got the Jets and the Bills. This one was a kind of a late resurgence by the Bills. Came back and win it. Came back on a 16-point deficit, which was their biggest comeback since 2011. Andy, what do you got?
Nobody
on the
circles
Bills
the
and
wagons
Jets?
like the Buffalo Bills.
I told you guys, Josh Allen. I mean, he didn't play great the entire game, but I mean, he quarterbacked a victory, which was that had to happen. And
24 for 37, 254, 1 touchdown, 2 picks.
Yeah,
Now, that was the only real stat line that I saw, and he lost a fumble too, didn't he?
yeah,
Something
two
like-
of them, I think.
Two of them, yeah.
But I mean,
So-
he quarterbacked a win, and their running back room helped a lot.
Yeah. So he not only helped them win
die
it,
in a
but he
car
almost
fire.
helped them lose it.
Yeah, I mean, it was back and forth, but I mean, he
And-
won the game.
One stat I like in this game is Darnold had more completions, but threw for 175 yards and 1 touchdown.
And how was Le'Veon Bell's performance? Because I knew he was running okay in that game, but I wasn't sure what his performance was.
17 carries, 60 yards, and then he caught 6 balls for 32 yards and a touchdown.
So
So
besides
about-
the
He started
touchdown,
out-
it
he
was
started out
92
better than he
yards
ended.
overall.
It was an okay game with him. Besides, he got in the end zone.
Yeah.
A good knock off the rust game. So my buy and sell here is, one, is Le'Veon Bell going to go back to Le'Veon Bell form from Steelers, where he is one of the most dynamic backs in the league? Are you buying into that, or are you are you selling and saying that Le'Veon Bell's not going to pan out? for the Jets?
I'm buying, and the reason why I'm buying is because this whole game, I think, was a knock off the rust game. Neither team played exceptionally well. There was just it was a blah game, and so I think you'll see a lot better performance out of him. But I mean, you also got to see a better performance out of Sam Darnold if you want to see a better performance out of Le'Veon Bell. Because if they could put 10 people in the box, then he's going to have a rough go.
What do you think, Jace?
Yeah, I think, early game, divisional rivals, it's always going to be a grind out, sort of tough game. So you really can't put too much stock into it. I thought Darnold looked good early, but then, the Bills kicked a field goal in the third quarter and scored 14 straight to win it. Allen came out and, he was another one that was running around running like a chicken with his head cut off. So, and I'm looking at a couple of things here. Let me get back to
Just enough to get it
where
done.
my stats
kind of
are at.
stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
just basically just the bare minimum, honestly. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't put too much stock into it by either team. I think the Jets' offense is going to get better. I think the Bills will get better, not as much as the Jets. I think their ceiling is lower, but I guess we'll see what happens.
Andy, what do you got?
I'm pretty much like Jay said. I think the Bills and Jets, their floor is the same, but the Jets obviously have the higher ceiling. Le'Veon, I mean, it's going to get one or two ways depending on the line. I mean, I'm still
That's
buying
what it
on
is,
him,
the
obviously.
line.
Oh,
He doesn't
and,
have the line he has in Pittsburgh. But
one quick update that involves one of these teams here. Quincy, I believe it's Quincy. I'm not sure.
Enunwa.
Enunwa?
Yeah.
Is he's out. He has a high neck injury,
not good.
This is
Yeah.
the second time he's had this injury, and they were talking on Tiki and Tierney about whether or not he may have to consider retirement.
Well, on that note, too, they just acquired Demaryius Thomas from the Patriots. Do you think he's going to have a little bit of a factor in this Jets offense becoming a little more prolific? Because really, who is their main receiver? They had
Jamison
17
Crowder.
Jamison Crowder.
Jamison Crowder.
targets?
Robbie
That's
Anderson
insane.
is still
And then
with the
Robbie
Jets, is he not?
Anderson's always their
Yes.
deep threat.
Yeah.
But how do you see this
Demaryius Thomas is
distribution?
going to be a three. He's going to be their third option, basically. But he's not a slot either. So they're probably going to have somebody who's either they'll move Anderson to the slot when they bring in Thomas, or they'll have another shiftier wide receiver that'll be ahead of Thomas on a depth chart.
More in that position because that's where he could thrive.
I think. I think Jamison Crowder is. I mean, Robbie Anderson is taking all the number one corners. So Jamison Crowder is the obvious number two. I mean, he's getting a lot of catches just because I'm going to say from what I saw in the game that he's slightly above a number two receiver. I mean, he's playing better than number two corners.
He's a 1B.
Yeah, one.
He is a
lowercase
Smith-Schuster to an Antonio Brown type of
Lowercase b.
situation.
Yeah. And I mean, he's just good enough that he's going to beat a lot of number two corners. I mean, so he's going to get a lot of catches.
All right,
14 catches for 99 yards.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the next, we'll move on to the next game here. The Falcons and the Vikings. Vikings went in there, were dominant. Dalvin Cook looked great from coming back from his injury. Actually ran really well with 2 touchdowns. Vikings take it 28-12. How do you feel about this Falcons team with all of their offensive power not being able to put any points on the board to the fourth quarter? Is this something you're going to buy into saying Falcons are going to be garbage, or is this kind of a 1 week fluke where they're going to right that ship? What do you think, Kevin?
I think this all lies on their doorstep. They've got to be. They did not lose that much talent from when they were in the Super Bowl 2 short years ago. So they have all those same pieces. For some reason, those pieces don't want to play together. I don't know whether it needs to be a change at the top is what the problem is, or if they need to start shipping some of these pieces out and get some new blood in.
So are you saying?
Oh,
I'm selling.
You're selling.
Sell. They're done.
I'm selling as well. I mean, I mean, like Kevin said, they have the pieces, and I mean, they've pretty much only added. I mean, Calvin Ridley, obviously, and I mean, they shipped off Tevin Coleman, which is big. But I mean, they should not be looking this bad, especially with Matt Ryan at quarterback. I mean, I don't know what's going on in Atlanta, but they need to figure it out, and they need to figure it out quick if they're going to do anything.
What do you got, Jace?
Yeah, I mean, they had to put Chris Lindstrom on IR with a foot injury, so that's big. Obviously, they had a couple of guys on the offensive line that were banged up. It just seemed like the play calling was very stale. Devonta Freeman did not play well at all. I mean, that backfield accounted for, 19 plus 31, 50 yards on the ground.
And was he negative
math's
yardage
right.
in the first half? Devonta Freeman was negative yardage in the first half.
Yeah,
I'm not mistaken.
Ito Smith was their leading running back. I just looked at this. Their second leading rusher was Matt Ryan. He had 24 yards on 2 carries. So yeah, you gotta. He threw 2 picks. He can't do everything. Obviously, he's not a running quarterback. He's even trying to run now. So
yeah,
you gotta.
Is this kind of Matt Ryan's fall from grace? Kind of like we saw how Flacco went from Super Bowl MVP to being replaced by Lamar Jackson?
He's just one of those guys that has to have all the pieces around him. I mean, that year they went to the Super Bowl. Julio was playing great. Like, they had a good backfield. Like, he has to have a good offensive line, like absolutely every piece around him, or he does not play well. Like I said, running back's not playing well, offensive line banged up. I mean, there aren't a lot of quarterbacks.
He's running for his life.
Actually flourish in that situation.
That's exactly my point. I mean, if I don't think it's a fall from grace, but I mean, if they don't get the pieces around him soon, I mean, he's definitely in the back nine of his career, I guess you could say.
Right. So for that game, I was the only one that picked the Falcons. So everybody else picked the Vikings on that one, got a win. By the way, also the previous week, me and Andy were the only ones that picked the Bills. Jason and Kevin went with the Jets. So really, you guys almost had it on that one. Moving on to the next game. This game was one of the ones that just surprised the hell out of me. Ravens and Dolphins. I didn't expect the Dolphins to play well. I just didn't expect them to play them this bad. And me and Jace both picked the Dolphins.
Out of that top 10 pick.
Yeah. Well, there goes my bold prediction, and it's going to be shot. Me and Jace picked the Dolphins on this one, and I expected them not to do well, like I said, but I didn't expect them to do this bad. That team is in shambles right now. So my big buy or sell is Lamar Jackson. Are you buying the fact that he is that type of quarterback that's going to be Mahomes from last season? Or are you selling and saying that this was just chalked up to the Dolphins being that frigging bad? What do you got for me, Jace?
One of my buys this week, I wrote down my exact words were Lamar Jackson's arm. Like he came out in the post-game press conference and said, not bad.
Pretty good.
Back. Yeah. There were guys that were saying, when he was coming out in the draft that he should have moved, maybe been like a Josh Cribbs specialist type where he plays a little bit of quarterback, runs the Wildcat, and maybe plays wide receiver. And he came out, he didn't, throw a lot, but when he threw, he was effective.
Looked good.
It was 17 for 20 for 5 touchdowns and what is it? 300 yards.
How about that? Your stat man is on it. 1 second.
How about that pass to Hollywood Brown? Did everybody watch that? Because that was a dime.
Which one?
An absolute dime. Well, what was that?
Yeah.
How about the fact that he wasn't even playing a Division I football team?
Yeah, he was playing basically Miami Central Tech's JV high school team.
But they were all kickers.
I am selling. Lamar Jackson played against probably going to go down to being one of the worst football teams in the history of the NFL. So bad, in fact, that a large majority of the team is contacted their agents to try and get out of Miami. This is a sinking ship that's already sunk.
Yeah, Pro Football Talk came out and reported that the other day that multiple players actually called right after the game and were like, "Get me out of here."
Wasn't there like 8 of? I'm pretty sure there was 8 players.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Jace.
But Lamar Jackson's stat line, real quick, just to finish Jesse off, was 17 for 20, 324 yards and 5 touchdowns. So he had a perfect passer rating as well.
Yes,
the youngest quarterback in NFL history to ever do that.
But like I said, he was playing, or like Kevin said, he was playing in Division II school.
It was basically like he was lining up and playing football with nobody else on the field but the offense.
Yeah. He's playing catch.
I'm not selling on Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson's going to do something this year. But, I mean, that was definitely an inflated stat line there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I personally... so go on, Jason.
I think in my head, a more efficient Tim Tebow. Not going to throw a lot. Going to open up a lot with the run game, and then when he does throw, it's going to be explosive plays. Like Demaryius Thomas in the playoffs.
Anytime you say Tim Tebow, I cringe.
I'm saying, and I'm not a believer in Lamar Jackson. I was talking to one of my coworkers today about him, and he was like, Lamar Jackson's a real deal, all this stuff. And if he's listening to this show, I'm shouting you out for our conversation in the car. There's Smai. But yeah, he was loving Lamar Jackson. I personally can't buy into that. I'm selling this one. I do not think Lamar Jackson's going to be this kind of a prolific quarterback player. I think he's going to have good weeks, and I think he's going to have a lot of bad weeks. I still believe.
Shame on you.
Shame.
Nobody should have let Jace get the iPad.
Yeah, right.
Jason and his goddamn toys.
Show us the weather, Jace. Back to you.
Yeah, he was showing us the radar
go rain.
because we are having a crazy lightning storm. So hopefully none of us cut out.
You can actually see it over here in the corner of my
you
screen.
see it.
It's bad.
Not anymore.
It's really bad.
It's not in the corner of your screen anymore.
But so I just do not. I'm not buying in on the Lamar Jackson hype. I don't believe it. I don't think it's going to continue. I'm chalking this all up to Miami being that bad. I think that every team that plays Miami this year is probably going to have this kind of a stat line.
Except for the Steelers. The Steelers will almost lose to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
How about the Patriots? What are the Patriots going to do?
We'll get to that. Next game we're looking at is the Chiefs and Jaguars. Once again, everybody bought into these Jaguars defense is going to have a resurgence. They didn't let Mahomes throw a touchdown pass last year. They're going to kick their ass. Mahomes came out, hobbled, and just destroyed them. So Sammy Watkins showed up in this game like a monster, catching 3 touchdowns. My big buy this week, buy or sell, is Sammy Watkins.
Chase, you're breathing into your mic.
Is this something?
Sorry.
Is Sammy Watkins' stat line something that's going to continue? Is Sammy Watkins going to be a top 5 receiver this year? Or is he going to do what we always see Sammy Watkins do and have a crazy good game, then like 6 weeks of mediocre games?
And then an injury.
And then an injury.
And then an injury.
So what do you think there, Andy? What are you going with on this game here?
I'm actually buying into this. I think that Sammy Watkins I think he's going to have a resurgence in his career. And, I mean, it's the same as Jameson Crowder. I think he's an above-average number 2 receiver opposite Tyreek Hill. And, I mean, Travis Kelce's on the field, obviously. I think Sammy Watkins is in Jameson Crowder's exact shoes, but in a lot better place with a lot more coherent quarterback behind him. And I think he's going to have a lot of chances to blow it up this year.
I am also buying on Sammy Watkins, and the reason I'm buying on Sammy Watkins is because Tyreek's hurt. So now Sammy Watkins is number 1. So I think I don't think their running game is going to be all that special, so they're going to be passing the ball with Mahomes again. I did say I thought Mahomes was going to come down to earth. He didn't look too down to earth on Sunday, but then again, Jacksonville looked terrible all last year, so they might just be another one of those that's going back to being the old Jaguars. But
yeah, they had their 1 year.
Let's be honest.
Now it's going to be full on.
Gardner Minshew.
He threw 50 touchdown passes, and if he goes down to 42, that's still falling down to earth a little bit. But that's one thing I also did want to bring up for this is Gardner Minshew. Dude came in, played like a boss. He, this guy almost took Washington State to the playoffs last year in the NCAA tournament. I mean, he has some talent. It'll be nice to see if he can take this opportunity and run with it.
It's the college football playoff NCAA tournaments.
I don't give a shit.
But anyhow, Gardner Minshew. The thing I'm worried about with the Chiefs is this defense allowed Gardner Minshew to come in and go 22 for 25, 275, 2 touchdowns and a pick.
Would have probably had close to a perfect passer rating if he didn't throw that.
Yeah, damn near close. And Mahomes, did Mahomes things. Tried that stupid, no-look pass and overthrew Kelce by a mile. 75% completion rating, 378 yardage, 3 touchdowns, did his normal thing. But the problem they're going to have is I don't trust that defense. And with Tyreek out, you guard Sammy Watkins, you guard Travis Kelce, and make somebody else beat you, or make him beat you in the running game.
Right. Well, I'm not buying into Sammy Watkins. I think that Sammy Watkins is going to be the Sammy Watkins we know. He's going to have a huge game. He might have 1 or 2 more of those this year, but I think he's going to be pedestrian. Now, I think that Tyreek Hill being injured right now is going to make Sammy Watkins' stat line look a lot better for these next few weeks, for sure. I think when Hill comes back, you're going to see Watkins go back to being pedestrian, 50 yards, 4 or 5 catches, 70 yards, 4 or 5 catches, maybe a touchdown here and there. He's going to be a good wide receiver, too. He's going to be a great compliment to him. But I feel like he's going to go back to being Sammy Watkins that's played for 5 teams or whatever the hell it's been now. So I'm not buying into Sammy Watkins yet. And I can't really say yes to buying into him because of Tyreek's injury. I can't say I'm selling him because of Tyreek's injury, but I'm not buying into him being a top 5 receiver this year for sure. All right, we're going to move on now to the Titans-Browns game. After that first drive from the Browns, did anybody expect the Titans to win this game 43-13? That first drive from the Browns was fucking flawless. Baker Mayfield just threw it down the field, gave it to everybody, easy, no problem. Converted on every down or every third down, like didn't have a singular problem. And then from that moment on, it was nothing but downhill for them. So, what do you think? What are your takes on this Titans team? Or are you going to buy in this Titans team being that good, or do you think that the Browns kind of bought into their own hype and got a little overconfident after that first drive? Jace, what do you got for me?
Yeah, like you said, Baker came out, was throwing darts down the field. They ran the ball a little bit pretty well. Didn't run it, that great, but I knew something was up. I knew Browns football was afoot when they missed the extra point when they went down and scored that touchdown. Yep. I went, okay, this isn't going to be good. And then from there on out, I mean, that Titans defense, I'm buying that. I think it's stifling. Kevin Byard in the back, again, another pick. Who else had an interception on that defense?
3 and 4 drives.
Yeah, Logan Ryan had a pick. Malcolm Butler had a pick as well. 2 former, Patriots, just picking off Bill Belichick's scavengings. But basically, Baker didn't look good. They had 5 offensive linemen left by the time this game was over due to either people getting thrown out for kicking people in the face or injury. So, when you almost got to call up the towel boy to play right guard for you, it's never going to be good. So
I wouldn't have been surprised if they started throwing Njoku in as tackle there after a while, because it was that bad, their offensive line woes there. And now it kind of looks like that Zettler trade was not a good idea on their part. Kevin, what do you got on the Browns-Titans game?
Well, I agree with you on that one. Zeitler was the number 2 offensive lineman on that squad, and they sent him away. So you're going to see him fall down a little bit there. But I'm not buying the Titans. I still think this is a team that's going to underperform and be looking for a quarterback in the draft. As far as the Browns, I expected them to win that game, but this is what I called. I called that they were going to start the season off slowly with some losses. I just didn't pick one of the losses right. I think it's going to take them a little while before this whole team will gel. There's a lot of new pieces, a lot of new parts. They got to get used to each other. Baker's got to get his timing down. Everybody seemed to be okay with OBJ, but there's a lot of moving parts, not just the moving parts inside of his $350,000 watch that OBJ was rocking this week, but they've got to get everything ironed out. Like I said, I think by week 5 you're going to see a team that's going to start running through teams pretty easily.
What do you got, Andy?
Actually, I believe it was our first episode, I said that my biggest surprise is going to be the Titans, and I'm sticking to that. I'm buying this Titans team. I mean, I think Mariota, if he's ever had a year, it has to be this year. I know you guys all hate Mariota. You all stated it many
Deborah Wisniewski.
But I think Denbrook walking tall.
Derry Willader.
Yeah, but I think I'm buying into this Titans team. I think they're I think they're solid. I think they're solid enough to make the playoff run. I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl or anything, but I'm saying that they're solid. I mean, especially their defense. And Mariota might just
Jake Locker version 2.
I like Jake Locker.
Jake Locker
So-
wasn't
Of
that
course
bad.
you did.
So, and I didn't go back to our picks for the last few games. The Dolphins, Ravens. Me and Jason went with the Dolphins because we're idiots. And the Ravens were picked by Kevin and Andy. And the Chiefs game, Jace went with the Jaguars. Everybody else did go with the Chiefs. Everybody picked the Browns in this one. I think we all kind of bought into their hype a little bit, and we kind of expected them to come out like they did in that first drive. I was very surprised that the Browns went back to Browns football very quickly. They looked fantastic in the first 5 minutes of the game, and then it just went downhill from there. I think that Baker Mayfield was pissed. I think he was a little hurt, and I think that he felt the need near the end of that game to put it on himself, and that's when he started throwing picks and overthrowing people and just people running the wrong routes or throwing behind OBJ for that one pick. Like, I don't know if that was so much he wasn't feeling good because of the safety sack that Cameron Wake got on him, or if it was just he was putting too much pressure on himself to try to be a hero.
Hey,
It was probably a little bit of both.
Before we get off the topic, I have to grab one thing.
Oh, okay.
But while he's gone, I would just like to mention I was very conflicted as a man who wants the Browns to go to the Super Bowl. I do have the Titans defense and Derrick Henry. So that was pretty fun.
He got his Vince Young jersey.
Oh,
Wow.
God.
I am buying this Titans team. I just bust out my Vince Young jersey. I think
upsetting.
Marcus Mariota is going to do what Vince Young couldn't do. And I think they're going to,
Win the game.
win another
Vince
game anyhow.
Young. Vince Young took him into the playoffs. So if you're thinking the Titans are
One
going
time, I
further
mean-
than just into the playoffs, there's something seriously wrong with you.
He got him into a wild card spot. I think they're going to go farther.
Yeah,
than
if
that.
you think, wow, okay, that's definitely a bold prediction and really wrong.
I'm not buying into either of these teams. I think the Titans are going to be the worst team in the NFL. Probably not now that I see the Dolphins on the field. But I think they're going to be probably picking top 5 now. My prediction's probably going down the hill. Browns will get better. I think it's a chemistry thing. Let's move on to the next game here, the Rams and Panthers. This is actually a pretty good game, even though the Panthers kind of didn't look great at all times. Rams ended up winning 30-27. Are we buying in that Gurley is healthy? That's what I really want to know. Gurley ran well. He didn't get in the end zone. I think he only caught one pass, if I'm not mistaken, on that. They didn't use him in the passing game. Jay says one. I was right. And Malcolm Brown got all the goal line carries. Ended up with 2 touchdowns. So my buy and sell on this one is Gurley going to go back to the Gurley we know and love and want because I have him on my fantasy team?
No. And there's
No.
a reason for it. And the reason
No.
for it is that they have somebody else in Malcolm Brown who they can give carries like that in the goal line situations. So they don't have to rely on Gurley as much and risk him getting hurt again. He has issues with that knee. And they're going to do what they can to keep him healthy for the entirety of the season, not just the 17 regular season games. They want him there in the playoffs. They wanted to be able to use him in the Super Bowl. He's got to be healthy.
Yeah, Gurley cannot be the workhorse of this offense. Jesse, obviously you want him to be, but he cannot take the volume of carries that he needs to. So I'm totally selling on Gurley coming back to Gurley form.
I am buying Malcolm Brown. I think you're going to see him get about, you look at the carry share, Gurley got 14, Malcolm Brown got 11. So you look, that's almost a 50% split. Malcolm Brown got the goal line looks. I think Gurley looked good. It's not like he, was gimping around or anything out there, but I think they're just going to, like Andy said, they're not going to use him throughout the year and burn him out because they know that they have a good enough team to go deep into the playoffs again this year. So they want to be able to use him in the Super Bowl instead of, having to sit him and rely on whoever your backup is. I am, however, hoping, though, against you, Jesse, that as somebody who drafted Darrell Henderson in our league, I'm hoping maybe Gurley gets a little bit less of the workload and he gets some of the carries.
Well, okay, I guess my question is, do we see Gurley being a 20 carry back again?
No.
Even splitting with Malcolm Brown, do you see him getting 20 carries or 20 touches even with receptions?
Maybe not
touches
until
is not that high of amount of touches there, Chief.
No, but he didn't reach 20 this week.
I think you'll see him reach 20, maybe 20 carries. Probably not closer to the playoffs, but maybe you'll see him be more involved in the passing game
when they're pushing. Yeah, when they're pushing.
Yeah.
When it's
for the money.
I can agree with that. Unfortunately, because just from what C.J. Anderson did last year for them near the end of the season, I can definitely see that they need somebody to complement. I hear that
I forgot about him.
He has some like crazy arthritis in his knee already. Is that kind of what it is?
That's what the word was during the offseason, is he is having issues with arthritis in the knee, which might make that contract that they signed with him, giving him $45 million guaranteed, a bad choice.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
I mean, he's okay.
Go on.
No, I was just going to say he is still potent when he's. I mean, he can still be potent when he's on the field, but I mean, you can't run him like. Give him the workload.
Can't run him like somebody that you paid $45 million guaranteed.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in that game, everybody, me and Kevin both took the Rams. Jace and Andy were believing in the Panthers, and that was a close game. It wasn't, a blowout for any means.
Cam Newton was bad.
He was bad. He was Cam.
Bad.
He was Cam. And we haven't seen the resurgence of Greg Olsen yet. So,
while you were up getting your Vince Young jersey, I did give a shout out to the Titans defense and Derrick Henry for laying the smack down on you.
Yeah.
All right. Next game.
I'm coming back.
A game that I was incredibly surprised was as close as it was. Seahawks and Bengals game. I can't believe that the Seahawks had so much trouble with the Bengals. Andy Dalton threw for a career high 418 yards, which is just insane to me. I guess what I'm really wanting to buy or sell in this one is John Ross. Are you buying into John Ross going to become a prolific person in this offense? Or are you just thinking that he only caught, I think it was 4 balls? Is that what it was, Jace?
I think Andy wants to take this one.
Andy, go ahead.
I'm going to get a stat check while we're waiting. But
okay.
Are we buying into John Ross at all? Go ahead, Andy.
I am all in on John Ross. I was sadly, as sad as I am to say this, I was number 1 on the waiver wire this week, and John Ross was my first pickup. I think John Ross is in prime form with AJ Green out right now to make a run and be what he was supposed to be in that number 1 pick. I mean, he's an Olympic, speed athlete. I mean, he's so fast, and he's
record holder.
He's just showing it. I mean, he's catching balls across the middle. Nobody's even close to him. And I am 100% buying on John Ross, and that's why I have him on my team for this week.
Sell.
7 catches, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns, an average of 22.6 yards per catch. His targets, I'll have to look that up. That's a separate screen.
That I kind of want to know, because he caught 7 balls, and a lot of them were deep bombs that he just busted over the top. He's kind of D-Jackson. But
faster.
Well, obviously he's faster. But I can't buy into John Ross. I can't. I don't. I feel like this was the Seahawks were playing a lot of bend don't break, hence why Andy Dalton threw for 400 yards and lost. They had no running game because Mixon got hurt. and Bernard is just a glorified third down back catching it. He's kind of a Darren Sproles kind of thing, in my opinion. I never thought he was that great. So they didn't really have the running attack they wanted. So I feel like that's what they had to do. Go ahead, Jace.
12 targets.
12 targets on 7 catches. So it looked, I mean, they were passing like crazy. I don't think they're going to be passing like crazy every week, but I just can't buy into John Ross.
I'm definitely on the sell train on this one because they were playing against the Legion of Boo instead of Legion of Boom. This defense is terrible now for the Seahawks. They have 2 players on the whole freaking defense anymore.
Yeah.
This is not going to be what you see as the status quo from the Bengals. They're going to go up against teams that actually, play defense, and Andy Dalton's going to go back to being Andy Dalton. So I definitely am not buying John Ross.
All right, Jace, what do you got?
I'm not buying John Ross or the Bengals in general. Like Kevin said, not a lot of defensive pieces left, but I do think the Seahawks looked kind of rusty. I think they'll pull it together. I think they're not going to get much better, but I think that defense is going to be – I think it will be better than it played on Sunday, but it's hard to cover a guy that runs like what, a 4-2?
4-2-2.
2 or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a 4-2-2. All right,
you
next.
You guys are all going to pay. You're going to pay for all of you are going to pay for that all season long. I want you guys to know that.
All right, we're going to go on to the next game. By the way, on that game, we all went with the Seahawks and we all won that game. So yes, we definitely chose that one right. Next game I want to touch on Colts and Chargers. This was Jacoby Brissett's first start since Andrew Luck retired. They didn't perform bad. They just lost to the Chargers 30-24. And really it was Eckler who came out and won it in overtime for him with that 7-yard rushing touchdown. They went into overtime. So obviously Jacoby Brissett is showing that he deserves the starting role and is not just getting it by default. So what I want to kind of talk about is, and I know it wasn't part of the game, obviously, but is Eckler going to give them a chance to not have to worry about Melvin Gordon this season? Or are we going to see him kind of trail off and them desperately want to get Melvin Gordon back?
Yeah, Melvin Gordon just lost this battle. He was holding out in the hopes that he would get the money, and Austin Eckler just completely and totally screwed him over on that one because he came out and showed that they don't need Melvin Gordon to win football games. He can do the job. Melvin Gordon would probably be a slight improvement over Austin Eckler at this point, but I think Melvin Gordon's either going to sign for less than he wants or he's going to go play ball somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't think this is also another one. I don't think it was a very accurate depiction of what you'll see from Brissett when he plays some of these other teams, because it is a little bit of a compromised Chargers defense, missing Derwin James, who has been a huge piece for them.
He was kind of the person that put him over the top last year and made him a really, really hard-nosed defense.
He was a big playmaker for them, so I think, as he gets into some of these tougher defenses, it won't be quite as good. I still think he's their best option to go with right now. There's nothing I'd go with over him out there, but I definitely think this was a little bit of an above, a little bit higher performance than I expect to see from him moving forward.
Right. Andy?
I think Austin Eckler definitely proved that he's going to take this offense on his back. I mean, he pretty much has to. I mean, Justin Jackson got some carries too, and he looked good. But I don't think they're hurting that bad without Melvin Gordon. I mean, there's rumors that he'll sit out till week 6. Whatever. I mean, I guess we'll see what week 6 brings, but I don't see the Chargers offense having a problem.
Yeah. What do you got, Jace?
I think what you're going to have now is sort of a Le'Veon Bell situation you had last year where he sat out and thought he was, oh, you're going to miss me. And then James Conner came out and played very well. And, now he's a New York Jet, God help him. But Eckler, 12 carries, 58 yards. Like Andy said, don't leave out Justin Jackson, 6 carries for 57 yards. So half the touches and just as many yards almost. But the real difference was Eckler had 6 catches and obviously 96 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's very much more dynamic in the passing game.
So 3 in total.
Yeah. So I think the overall census is Brissett is going to be decent, but we got to see him week to week, and Eckler may have just taken the job, and see you later, Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, because, what Eckler did being more dynamic in the passing game is basically the Chargers' entire offense. They're more dynamic in the passing game.
Yeah. All right, moving on. That game right there, we all chose, it looks like, let's see, where was it? We all chose the Chargers, and we all won that one. So that is all pick on the Chargers. Moving on to the next game, we got the 49ers to the Buccaneers. 49ers defense got 3 interceptions in one game. They only had 2 all of last year. They won that game pretty handily, 31-17. Garoppolo looked good. I think the person that really looked good in this game is Richard Sherman. I think he came back. I think this is kind of his he had that, it was Achilles injury, I believe, 2 years ago. And last year he played, but didn't really ever make headlines at all about being great. And I think we even talked about it in one of the earlier episodes about how nobody really talks about Richard Sherman being number 1 after he stopped taking Adderall.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
So now Richard Sherman kind of became came back to himself again. I guess what I'm going to say is, are you buying into this 49ers team? Are you buying into their defense? And do you see good things, or is this something along the lines of they played a Buccaneers team that is absolutely atrocious, and they played Jameis Winston, who is also absolutely atrocious? What do you got, Andy?
The 49ers played Jameis Winston.
Okay.
That's
simple as that.
Well, I on this one here, I think the 49ers, I expect a lot out of the 49ers this year. I think they still need a lot of improvement on this team. To be honest, when Jameis Winston is just giving you the ball, like him throwing the ball is equivalent to a punt.
Very true.
You probably should put up a little bit more even than what they did. But I think, like I said, I've said before, I think the defense, they did improve a lot on the defense. They added a lot more pieces for Garoppolo to use in the offense. As far as the Buccaneers, this is one of Jameis Winston's 3 strikes that he's got before Bruce Arians and this coaching staff is going to start preparing for the next quarterback that they'll be taking in the draft next year.
What do you got, Jace?
Garoppolo didn't play that well, I thought. 18 for 27, 166 yards, touchdown, 1 pick. Matt Breida hurt again, as always. But yeah, right. Jameis, you just wonder what's going through his brain sometimes.
Thinking about crab legs, man.
Yeah, crab legs and
man, that's all I wanted to say.
But yeah, basically he just made some boneheaded decisions. Bruce Arians came out this week and said that they went over the film as a team and said that the picks were not Jameis's fault, and said it was due to scheme and misreads and things like that, which is crazy town to me. But yeah, I'm totally selling every.
God!
He just dropped his phone. Every Tampa Bay Buccaneer I had on any of my fantasy teams, I either dropped or traded this week.
Yeah, I'm buying into this 49ers team is going to be improved from years ago. I think this team is heading in the upwards direction. I do not know that they're a playoff team yet. I got to get that type of performance on defense when they're playing a better team. If they go out there and do that against the Cowboys or the Chargers or something like that, then maybe I'll say okay. But they got to do it against a better offense for me to buy into this defense. On this game, I believe we all went, let's see. Jace picked the Buccaneers. Everybody else went the 49ers. Jace did not have a good week.
Good call,
just letting
Jace.
everybody know.
Jace, you're killing it.
Yeah.
Rough life.
Way to be an all-star.
Next game
Thank
we're
you,
going to
thank
go to is the Giants-Cowboys game. That was a pretty much all Cowboys game. Besides Barkley, this Giants offense does not have anything good going for them. Maybe when Tate comes back from his suspension, we'll see a little bit better in the passing game, but I just don't see them doing well this season. Cowboys dominated 35-17. Prescott threw four touchdowns. Zeke Elliott got back and going again. Are you buying into this Cowboys team being a top playoff contending team, or are you selling and saying it was just because they're playing the Giants?
Hold on, because I saw you sitting there trying to grasp for what was your buy and sell on this, and your buy and sell was that we had talked about Dak being terrible and not being a good quarterback.
Thank
Are
you.
we buying into Dak Prescott?
Yeah, are we buying into Dak Prescott? I guess, yeah, that's right. Because I believe we mentioned last week we weren't buying into Dak, and we didn't think Dak was going to be great, and we thought Dak was going to go back to being old Dak, and then he comes out and throws 4 touchdowns, much like we did to Lamar Jackson as well. So is this a horrible Giants team, or is this is Dak going to be the real deal this year? Kevin,
okay.
go for it.
Dak, much again like Lamar Jackson, went up against a defense that wouldn't even be good in Division I college football. When again he was out there basically playing catch with his receivers, when he's going up against somebody that's going to be a little bit tougher challenge on the defensive side, you're going to see Zeke. I think I honestly think this Cowboys team takes this division, and it's going to be mainly because of Zeke. When they'll have at least 2 games this season that they will have that type of performance out of Dak, because they play the Giants one more time. So
that's right. What do you think, Andy?
I'm on the fence about this. I'd like to buy into Dak, but I think
logic is telling you.
Yeah, it's ugly, but I think we need to see them against some stiffer competition. Zeke, he looked good, but I mean not Zeke form. And I mean, obviously, he's been in Bermuda or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Offseason.
Mexico, Cabo.
But no, I'm buying on him, but we'll see.
Lightly buying.
Yeah, I'm lightly buying. I hate to say buy.
What do you got,
Jace? I really can't believe the words that are about to come out of my mouth. I'm going to buy Dak Prescott, and I'm going to buy him for one reason only. He's a man who wants paid. He is the only one, him and Amari Cooper are the only 2 really out of that team that didn't get their big money contracts this offseason. And it showed on Sunday, since Amari had 6 for 106 at a touchdown. And obviously Dak, 25 for 32, 405 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's going to play like a man, either, that's on fire because he's out for a contract, or he's going to either do that or try and do too much and go back to old Dak and throw a bunch of picks and go back to being Captain Checkdown.
I think that Dak is going to come down to earth, but I think he's going to be improved from last season. I think that's pretty much all I got to say on that one. The only other thing I want to say about this game is, isn't it great to not have Jason Witten in the booth anymore? Praise Jesus that he's no longer in the booth. On that game, we had everybody took the Cowboys. Cowboys obviously won, so we did all get that one. Next game, we got the wash. We got the amazing comeback by the Cardinals to tie the Lions, and then they both kind of fell on their face in overtime. So Hawkinson had 131 yards and a touchdown in his debut. What I'm saying is, are you going to buy into this Kyler Murray hype? Do you think he's going to be able to play well? in this league and do something with the Cardinals that looked like they probably were vying for another top 5 pick? Or are you saying that this was kind of a poor Lions defense that allowed him to come back? What do you got for me, Jace? Start off.
I really I thought the Lions were going to be. I didn't think they were going to be great. I thought they'd be better than this. I mean, this game was just. I thought they were going to go in. I didn't think they were going to exactly blow them out, but I didn't think they were going to tie in overtime. Stafford threw 3 touchdowns. Their rushing attack. I was real big on Kerryon Johnson in my fantasy this year. Didn't get him in either league. Andy did. Hey, buddy. 16 carries, 49 yards. None of their backs had a touchdown. Those were all distributed between Amendola, Galladay, Hawkinson, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, the Cardinals basically were just able to come back. I mean, Kyler Murray had a decent game. He threw the ball over 50 times.
Kevin is asleep right now.
I woke back up. Jace, you were boring the fuck out of me.
Your commentation was so boring. Kevin fell asleep during a live broadcast.
Wow. I'm shattered.
In my defense, I was at the garage until 9 o'clock last night.
Oh, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I got there at 8 in the morning. Fuck you.
Fine.
I was gonna say I thought I heard some whistling. Like it was like I wasn't gonna say anything.
So go on, continue, Jay. Sorry to interrupt you.
Please don't continue. Actually,
yeah, I think I'll just shut my mouth now. But no,
what do
Murray
you got, sleepyhead?
and I think that basically this was a case of you had a Matt Patricia offense. Matt Patricia learned from Bill Belichick some, but he also isn't all that great either. So he had an idea of what to do in the game. Arizona figured out what they needed to do to get around that. Fuck you, Andy. And then Kyler Murray was able to come out and actually put up some yardage against that defense, and Patricia didn't have an answer to stop him again.
Yeah.
Basically, this is 2 bad teams.
Yep, one of those lovely 2 bad teams playing each other kind of things.
Patricia, this is the beginning of Patricia's last season in Detroit. I'm pretty sure he's going to be getting the axe at the end of the year.
Yeah, I can see that.
He's going to be getting the Jim Caldwell treatment.
Yeah.
Well, it's his fault because he didn't ever go over and shake Sean McVay's hand.
That's right.
Or go have a cup of coffee with him.
He didn't catch the McVay.
Yeah.
Andy, what do you got in this game?
I can't believe we're still talking about this game.
I know, but we need to get by it.
Kyler, I'm gonna sell. I mean, he has weapons, but he doesn't have the. I don't know. He just doesn't have it.
The only thing I want to say about this game, the only thing I really liked about this was Larry Fitzgerald looks like vintage Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald looks amazing. And I hope that he has a resurging year because he's probably my favorite person/wide receiver ever.
Pittsburgh,
besides Calvin Johnson. But yeah, he's phenomenal, and I like the fact that Kyler Murray's kind of pressed life into him again. All right, so we're gonna move on from that one. We all obviously didn't win that game. I
just want to point out that I'm the fat guy and Jace is the one wheezing into his microphone.
It's not me.
All right, the Sunday night game, the shellacking that the Steelers got, 33-3. And I'm going to talk briefly about this when we get done with our Week 1 recap. I think that the Patriots just did what the Patriots do. They changed their scheme to fit whoever they're playing and destroy them. And that's what they do every single week. They can be a run-heavy fullback for heavy formation team one week, and then next week they're a spread offense, throw the ball all over you type of team. They can do anything and everything. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. I hate the fact everything about it, but that's what I saw here. I'm going to touch on it briefly. There was no preseason for Ben. There was like one game he was in for 2 drives or something. He didn't look like he had any chemistry with his receivers. The offense looked like they didn't know what was going on. The defense didn't look like they had any chemistry with each other at all. The secondary had no idea what they were doing. And yes, one of the starting safeties was his debut in the NFL. Kelly, I believe, or Cameron Kelly.
Cameron Kelly.
Yeah.
Kelly.
Yep.
He came from the Alliance League and wasn't expected to make the team, ended up making the team, and then Sean Davis goes down and he ends up starting that game. He looked okay, but he missed a lot of plays, especially that Philip Dorsett touchdown. So what I'm thinking is, are you buying into this Steelers team being this bad, or are you going to see this Steelers team get better as the season goes on when chemistry builds up? Kevin, I'll start with you.
Yeah, the Steelers team is going to improve. First thing that used to happen is Dante Moncrief needs to learn how to catch a goddamn football, you piece of shit.
I hope they cut him really quick.
Ben, I actually thought Ben looked pretty good. He was putting passes right on people's chests, and they were dropping the goddamn football like a bunch of fucking idiots.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, and now I'll tell you how I really feel. As far as Cameron Kelly, I actually thought he looked pretty good. That Dorsett touchdown, I mean, we'd have to hear it from them as to what happened there, because he looked around at Edmonds like that was like Edmonds should have been there to pick him up.
Edmonds was supposed to take that.
So it doesn't. Either Kelly or Edmonds missed that call. Whatever. They went up against the Patriots, and the Patriots were on. Normally, you don't see that out of the Patriots in the beginning of the season. We did this time. And the defense, they got to go back to the drawing board and figure some things out. Vince Williams, I love the guy, but I think he needs to just go away.
Yeah, me too.
I think we need to get more Devin Bush, Mark Barron. And I think once we get the receiver situation figured out, Vance McDonald didn't see a freaking football until the fourth quarter. I don't know what the hell that was about.
92 seconds left in the game.
Yeah,
Ben got his first pass.
Yeah.
Ben is like, that has always been kind of the thing back when Heath was there. That's how Ben gets rolling. That's how you get Ben into like a rhythm. He starts out with the tight end. They had no rhythm going on through this entire game.
He looks so upset right now.
They had no rhythm going on at all. And then to top it off, and I just lost my train of thought because just.
Anyway, Andy, what do you got on this one?
I'm actually gonna sell. I think the Steelers will definitely improve. They'll get their chemistry together. I mean, Dante Moncrief can't possibly drop any more balls than that in a game. I mean, that was just he went 1 for 11, I think.
Yeah,
it was bad. It was really bad. I think they have to start spreading the ball around more. Get more balls to Schweitzer, and Vance McDonald needs to see a pass before there's 92 seconds left in the game. And they'll get better. They just have to figure it out.
Number one thing the Steelers need to do is get their running game going. Connor barely saw any of that field, and they were spread offense most of that game because I think that they thought that they could take advantage of the Patriots secondary, which they underestimated how good that defense is right now. Connor didn't get rolling, and then it seemed like they were playing from behind from the bat, so they never did get Connor rolling. When Connor did get carries, they looked good, but he just didn't get enough. So I think that's a big part of it. My rage segment is about this Steelers team, so I'm just going to say I think they're going to improve, but I am tired of seeing this type of Steelers team I've seen for the last 5 years.
One last thing.
What do you got? Oh, go on.
One last thing I wanted to add to was the thing that I lost my train of thought on was what we didn't see out of this team was there was no 2-minute off, like no huddle, where Ben's running the offense. When they've had sometimes where they've had issues in games, they'll go to the no huddle, let Ben call some plays, get him into a rhythm, put Ben into his own rhythm, where Ben's setting the pace. And that always helped him out. I think.
Well, he tried to go no huddle because the center just sat there and was waiting for him to go no huddle, but everybody else decided to go.
Yeah, They
All
need
right.
to not run the same play 3 times in a row too. Because
Thank you. I have that
happened.
segment later. I'll talk about.
My God.
All right, Jace, go for it.
Dante Moncrief was targeted 10 times. He had 3 receptions for 7 yards. Yeah, not a good start. I saw people were calling him Dante Concrete already. So
Yeah, that's fun.
Steeler fans
You're pretty
aren't
happy about that.
I mean, really not happy to see the Patriots firing on all cylinders. That scares the fuck out of me. That was my big takeaway from this game. That
scares the fuck out of me.
You want to improve your guys' defense. Fire Tremaine Edmonds out of a cannon into the sun as soon as possible. Terrell Edmonds.
Bad thing with this game, we all took the Steelers on that one. I don't know how we did that or why we did that and why we bet against the Patriots in Foxborough, but we're all idiots, and we were smoking crack last week, evidently.
I actually did smoke crack last week.
and fire.
Not really.
I think Keith Butler was smoking crack on that one play that they had to Josh Gordon. Why was Vince Williams covering him on basically a seam route right down the right hash mark? I mean, God bless the guy. He did what he could, but it wasn't enough.
I can't wait to get this whole.
I wouldn't even have put Mark Barron. I wouldn't even put Mark Barron in that situation.
Yeah,
no way.
No. All right, moving on to the next game. Starting into our Monday night games. A fucking amazing game between the Saints and the Texans. They
an amazing last minute and a half.
Oh yeah, it was an amazing. Yeah, like the last 5 minutes of that game was amazing. Everything else was kind of like meh. But that game turned out to be phenomenal in that last segment on there. Saints squeak out a win right at the end with a 58-yard field goal by Lutz after he missed I think it was like a 54 or something earlier.
55-yarder, yeah.
55-yarder earlier. Then he just smashes a 58-yarder through the uprights to win the game. Texans looked good. Deshaun Watson looked good. Hopkins looked good. Even Kenny Stills looked good, even being there for 5 days. Their offensive line woes are not fixed, but they're getting better. The Saints are just, you can't not count on Drew Brees doing it. I guess really my hot take on this one is who's going to beat the Saints? I don't really have a good hot take on this one because both teams performed really well. I just don't know. Kamara was running around like a monster. He was acting like a Pro Bowl running back already. Like you could probably vote him to the Pro Bowl already just from that game. So what's your takes on these games? In this game here, Jace, go ahead and start us off.
Yeah, Kamara had 7 catches, 72 yards, and then 13 carries for 97. No touchdowns, but that'll come. Latavius Murray actually had a really nice touchdown run, but
I'll call that.
Like you said, Breeze came out, did his normal thing. Deshaun Watson played great, even though he was getting the shit beat out of him back there.
Yeah, he was.
He had 3 touchdowns. That running game actually surprised me. That little committee they have between
really good.
Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson, and then Duke Johnson also has very good hands out of the backfield, and DeAndre Hopkins just taking control of the game.
Just insane.
A great last drive by Watson, but of course, once you have Drew Brees on the field, he's like one of those guys like Aaron Rodgers. If there's time left and you have a timeout or you can get to the sidelines, you've got a chance.
Yeah. Kevin, what do you got?
I actually kind of called all of this. I thought New Orleans was going to be one of the top teams in the NFC. Thought it was going to be a shootout game. Think the Texans are going to win the AFC South. So everything went the way I kind of was thinking it was going to with this. And I think it's going to continue to go that way. They added Larry Tunsil real late in the preseason, so you've got to give him time to gel with the rest of that offensive line to get Deshaun Watson a little bit more.
Even for the short amount of time he was there, like he looked serviceable. Like there was times where he made wrong reads, but he looked like he's going to fill that role once he straightens up those few little things.
Yeah, but I think this is going the way it was supposed to go, in my opinion.
All right, what do you got, Andy?
I don't know what more to say than there's games every year that look fixed. You know what I mean? Just because as soon as it started happening, I could have told you play by play what was going to happen. You know what I mean? It just
conspiracy theorist Andy. The Illuminati came into this game.
I didn't say it was.
Do you have aluminum foil under that hat?
I didn't say. No, I have an
Are you an
armadillo
anti-vaxxer?
Dickhead. But no, I didn't say it was actually fixed. I'm saying there's games that you just know what's going to happen before it happens. I mean, Michael Thomas is going to catch a crazy catch. Will Lutz going to kick 60-yard field goal. I mean,
I get what you're saying, though. It's how I feel every time the Patriots are trailing in the Super Bowl. There's 2 minutes left. Here comes Tom Brady to score 4 touchdowns and take it to overtime in the Super Bowl. Or Edelman's going to catch the ball in between 3 people as he's getting knocked down and just barely keep it off the ground. We just know that shit's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I understand. On that game, I believe we all went with the Saints, if I'm not mistaken. Let me get back up here. Yes, we all went with the Saints. We all won that one. This next game coming up, we all went with the Raiders, and we all got that one as well. Raiders won against the Broncos 24-16. Emmanuel Sanders coming back from his heel surgery, his Achilles, I believe it was, looked good in his first game back. I liked that. This Broncos team's got a lot to wish for. The Raiders came out and just kind of dominated. My big buy sell on this one is Josh Jacobs. Are you buying in on Josh Jacobs making a name for himself and being one of these top running backs in the league? Because he showed some extreme power, just dragging people on runs. It was pretty awesome to see, and I'm sure Jace is really excited about that. I'm gonna make Jace go last, just so he can get his chub off. Kevin, go ahead and start us on this one.
Well, he's going to get his chub off because Josh Jacobs put Chubb's dick in the dirt. I'm definitely buying on not just Josh Jacobs, but this Raiders team. The end score was 24-16. It was not even close to that kind of a game.
No.
They just throttled down once they were up and dominating because this could have easily been a 40-point game for the Raiders if they really tried. But Tyrell Williams looked amazing. Derek Carr looked amazing. Darren Waller looked amazing.
Jace has been trying to
and
get
this
Darren
is
Waller
against
from Kevin in fantasy for the last 2 weeks.
I'm not going to trade him for a flex running back.
I hate you.
But this team has, I think, a ton of upside to them. They're only going to get better. They played against one of the better defenses and made them look pedestrian, to steal Jesse's favorite word of the day.
This is my favorite word of the day.
And Joe Flacco looked like what we've come to expect out of Joe Flacco. Nothing special.
Mediocre at best. Andy, what you got?
You pretty much covered all of it. I actually didn't get to watch a whole lot of this game, but from the highlights I watched,
let me interrupt you there. You actually put in the group text, "I'm not watching the ass hats." So just continue on with your little thing there. Oh, I was really sorry I didn't get to catch that one.
Yeah,
you're like fuck this. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Hater.
But I just hate you. But. No, I did watch a little bit of it on the ESPN app and saw some highlights and stuff. But Derek Carr looks good. I mean, they were profound in defeating the Broncos, but I mean, I don't think it's going to go any farther than that. I mean, it's an okay Raider. It's an okay Raiders team.
Antonio Brown.
Jace, I'll never give it to you.
Right
now. AB who?
Where's
that AB jersey at, Jace?
Yeah.
It got lit on fire in the yard the other day. Yeah. But no.
All right, Jace. Let's have it with these Raiders team.
I scheduled Tuesday morning off.
You did say that
months ago because once again the second year in a row we got the last
game wasn't over till 1 a.m.
Yeah, and I stayed up watched the whole thing because it was glorious. Carr came out, like I said, just to touch on the AB thing real quick. Like he touched on his trainer apparently. But
Oh,
I mean, not to be insensitive or anything. If it
he's
does
not
come
denying
through,
that.
yeah, they did, have a consensual relationship. But that's neither here nor there. We'll see how that plays out in court. But everybody was worried about us and the offense with him, but he was never there. He was never spent more than 3 consecutive days with the team. So Darren Waller and Tyrell Williams were going to be the focus of the offense, obviously, with Josh Jacobs getting the catches and touches he got. Carr looked good. My big takeaway was we are still missing our starting left guard and right guard, and the offensive line looked very good. And I think this offense is only going to get better.
Awesome. Well, one thing I will add real quick, or two things I will add real quick. One thing that was promising I saw was Mr. Max Crosby, Clubber, was involved in some plays early, and Abrams is actually may have to have surgery on his shoulder.
He's out for the season, actually.
He is finally. Okay,
I didn't see that.
They were talking about, last I'd heard, they were just talking that he may have to have the surgery. But okay, so now he is having the surgery and he's out. That's going to be a big hit in the secondary.
Crosby did whiff pretty bad on Philip Lindsay early, and other than that, he played pretty solid. He got the club cut off.
How did Cleveland Farrell do? Did he start?
He didn't do too bad, but he was across from Garrett Bowles, and he kind of had his way with him most of the night. But the defense actually played very well. Flacco, like you guys said, looked like Flacco. But other than that, solid all-around win. One thing I did want to mention, though, Bradley Chubb and Von Miller did not record a sack or a quarterback hit on Derek Carr.
That's actually an amazing stat.
How about Derek Wolfe?
No, they didn't touch Carr all night. He was not.
Jesse, are you clipping your toenails right now?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
You are a terrible human being.
Everybody picked the Raiders. The Raiders won that one. I liked how Josh Jacobs played. I liked how this whole Raiders team played.
Jacobs just
I think that was a great pickup, and I think I said that to you when they drafted him that he was going to be good for you guys. All right, so that's all of our week one. To recap our picks, I went 10-5-1. Jace is at the rear end with his 7-8-1. Kevin and Andy are currently tied 11-4-1. I'm going to post all that to the Facebook page. Also, our website is up and running now with Andy finally on there instead of, I think it was Homer originally. So you can find that link on our Facebook page as well. In this segment, I'm going to briefly talk a little bit of just things that piss us off, some raging. This really grinds my gears, is this segment, I'm going to say. One thing I want to mention just briefly about my grinding gears, and then I'll move on to my Steelers. Preseason. I am so tired of hearing people talk so bad about preseason, how they want to abolish it, they want to get rid of it, I want to do this. So then they go on and they don't play their starters, a.k.a. the Bears, a.k.a. the Steelers played Ben for a drive. And then they come out and look like shit week one in preseason.
Improper usage of a.k.a.
Fuck yourself. They come in and look like shit in week one. I'm tired of people yelling about the preseason every fucking year. They're not going to drop it to 2 games. Start utilizing the preseason properly, and maybe your team won't look like garbage week one. Okay, that's one rage. My second rage, and I'll let you guys go after me, but I'm tired of the Steelers team. I'm tired of this front office of the Steelers. I want to abolish all of the coaching staff. I want to get rid of everyone. I am tired of the Steelers living on this tradition of, we're just going to keep beating our head against the wall because eventually it'll work, because that's the plan. Tomlin doesn't seem to ever prepare this team properly. They don't beat teams that are good, and they don't beat teams that are bad. They always have trouble with teams every year at the beginning of the season. And then in the middle of the season, they'll go on a run, and then the end of the season, they'll suck again. It's happened for the last 3 years. This should be a Super Bowl caliber team, I don't think he handled Bell and Brown's situation well. Not that I'm upset about Brown being gone now, but I am still a little butthurt about Bell being gone. I think that this is Tomlin's last season with this team. He only signed a 1-year extension. I feel like I'm tired of them saying tradition is we keep a coach forever and we make sure it works and blah, 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 blah. It doesn't fucking work. I'm tired of it. I want to see progressive action. I want to see, I'm going to say it, Sean McVay. I want to see somebody come in that's fucking new and fresh and can change the team. Because this old attitude that they have with Keith Butler and Fichtner or whatever the fuck his name is, and Tomlin, it doesn't freaking work. I'm tired of running the same play 3 times in a row against the Patriots and getting tackled for a loss and wondering, well, how'd that happen? Or I'm tired of Ben throwing to Dante Moncrief 11 times and him catching 3 balls. I'm tired of the way they utilize this offense. I'm tired of this front office. I need change. I've grown up with this team, and I am so tired of it being the same thing every year. So that's my rage segment.
Relax.
I get it. It's week 1. Relax. But I'm tired of every week 1 I feel this way.
It's week
Last
1.
year we tied the fucking Browns in week 1, and I was at that game.
It's week 1.
I'm so tired of this team going,
it's
it's okay.
Week 1.
It'll get better. Just relax. No, I want
week
fucking change,
1.
And I want it now.
It's week 1, you millennial piece of shit.
I'm not a millennial.
You millennial.
I'm like 2 years younger than you.
And this coach that you so desperately want rid of is the second winningest coach in the NFL.
Yes, he has 1 Super Bowl.
Okay.
Because of Bill Cowher.
Because of Bill Cowher.
Because of Bill Cowher. The only one he made by himself, he lost. Because
he made another
Rashard
one.
Mendenhall.
He made one by himself, and Rashard
and
Mendenhall lost it. It was not Mike Tomlin's fault.
I guess is probably more of the way to say that. But I feel like you know what the Packers just did? They fucking stopped doing this with the beating their head against the wall like it's going to be okay. We got a coach. He won the Super Bowl 1 time, and we're just going to stick with it. They finally changed it, and look at the team now. They came out there with actually a decent defense, and now they're coming out and going, oh, hey, we changed philosophy. Things look different, and we might be able to do something. Yeah, they didn't win that game handily, but things are changing there.
Okay, so you have no clue what you're talking about because the defensive coaches for the New England Patriots are the same 3 defensive coaches they had last year.
I said
it's Bill Belichick.
Packers. Did I say Patriots? I meant
you
Packers.
said Patriots.
I meant to say Packers.
And okay, well, Mike Pettin is also the same defensive coach they had last year.
They did Don Capers forever, is what I'm saying. They finally made that change off of Don.
Okay, well, their defense sucked last year under Mike Pettin, and they got better this year under Mike Pettin. Same coach. They
got rid of fucking McCarthy, who was pretty much owning that defense because he was McCarthy and he made all the decisions.
No, he was the offensive guru. Capers handled the defense.
Yes, I know that, but moving on. All I'm saying is they are changing, and Steelers need to do it too.
Steelers have been changing as well. They've changed coordinators on offense.
They didn't change coordinators. These guys were assistants sitting underneath the old coordinator.
Well, let's be honest. The real offensive coordinator wears number 7. That's the only reason Fichtner has the job is because it's Ben's quarterback coach, so Ben can call the plays. Ben can go over the game plan with him and do what Ben wants to do.
He looked great at
He's not even an offensive coordinator. But Ben needs to have more control. I think Ben just needs to be calling the plays on the field is what needs to happen because that's how they do
Aaron
better.
Rodgers.
As far as can't beat good teams, I don't know. I could distinctly remember the New England Patriots coming into Heinz Field last year and getting their asses handed to them.
And what did the New England Patriots do last year?
They won the Super Bowl because they made the playoffs. That's all you need
to say there. Yeah, because the
Steelers also
didn't make the playoffs.
Also remember the Steelers going to New Orleans, and if it wasn't for a Juju Smith-Schuster fumble, they would have won that game as well. Also, some terrible fucking calls by the referees in that game, along with the Chargers game. The Steelers were a playoff team last year that got screwed by the refs.
Once, Jace, I agree with you. I'm tired of finding excuses elsewhere. Let's stop.
I don't want to hear it, Jace, because you were whining about the same fucking refs in the same goddamn games last year too. So I don't want to hear your shit with your boohooing. The Browns game.
The last time you heard me complain about the refs was the infamous index card moment. But carry on.
That was also last year.
No, that was the year before.
No, that was last year.
No, that was Del Rio's last year. You're wrong.
Okay, well, there was an index card issue last year. But anyways, Steelers should have been in the playoffs last year. And I think they're going to the playoffs this year.
Fucking week 1 in the playoffs.
You should have beat the Raiders, and you would have been in.
That's true.
Should have beat the Browns.
I want this man.
Should have beat the Chargers. Should have beat the Saints.
Shoulda. Also,
that's
the keyword.
Things going on with the Steelers right now, and this is kind of what I was talking to you about a couple weeks ago, Jesse, away from the podcast. Juju Smith-Schuster. The reason one the Steelers beat the Patriots last year is because Antonio Brown was still on our team, and Antonio Brown had to be double teamed because they could not contain him with one cornerback. What did they do with Juju Smith-Schuster? All day Sunday, they contained him with one cornerback. Juju is a good receiver, but he still has a lot left to learn. He is a number 1 receiver, or he is a number 2 receiver in a number 1 receiver's position.
All right. What else do you guys got? What's your rage moment? Jason, I know you gotta have some kind of rage moment too.
Just basically, fuck Antonio Brown, fuck the horse he rode in on, fuck everything about him.
I think this whole situation sounds like she's trying to extort him, but fuck him.
No, I'm not even talking about that. We haven't had a podcast.
No, this is a fuck him in general.
Yeah, this is just me going fuck his feet, fuck his helmet, fuck the Patriots, fuck Tom Brady, fuck Bill Belichick.
House.
Yeah, fuck his house, fuck his couch.
Well, he doesn't have a house right now. He's staying over at Brady's.
Fucking living at Brady's.
Fuck Tom Brady's house, fuck Tom Brady's couch.
Fuck him mouth kissing his dad.
What?
Tom Brady mouth kisses his dad.
him and Brown are probably mouth kissing. But yeah,
they probably are.
That's really all I got. Good riddance. I don't have to hear about him, and I don't have to get Schefter's tweets about what he's doing because he's not on my roster anymore.
What do you got, Andy?
What's your rage? My rage is fucking Eli Manning. I am so fucking sick of hearing about Eli Manning. There was a play against Dallas on Sunday that I watched him step in front of Leighton Vander Esch, and I swear to God, he looked him dead in the eye and was just like, "End my fucking career, please." He wasn't even trying. He just stepped out right in front of him and just stopped moving. So that's what I'm waiting for. I mean, Daniel Jones is obviously the heir. I'm sick of hearing about Eli Manning because, I mean, he's washed up. I'll say it.
I can dig that.
Bold take there.
Yeah, I must have to agree with you on that one. I'll be honest.
Just sick of hearing about him.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna jump in right now.
I'm not allowed to say anything.
Oh, I thought your rage was
you said about
yelling
Juju.
at me.
No.
Well, go.
That
What's
was
your
my
rage?
response to your rage. I have no rage because football's here and I'm happy. Fuck everything else.
Good.
Thank you for stopping the podcast for that. You fucking piece of shit. Wow.
That was a
all right.
That was good, bro. I'll give you that.
Sorry, I'm still fucking raging because I cannot stand the Steelers.
It's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and take a nap.
All right, go back to sleep. All right, guys, we're going to do our week 2 picks. Hopefully, we look a little smarter than we did last week. Luckily, we got the majority of things. We didn't look
I looked
too
all
bad.
right.
You and Kevin looked all right. I'm going to catch up to you, and Jace, you got some work to do. All right, week 2, Thursday night game, Tampa Bay at Carolina. Who we taking? I'm personally going to go with Carolina on this one. I think that you're going to see Cam Newton look a little better, and Tampa Bay's just horrible. Jace, what do you got?
First of all, fuck off. Second of all, I'm taking the Panthers.
Woody Page here.
Yeah, Woody Page coming at you, coming in hot. Yeah, I just think Cam's going to bounce back, as he tends to do. He just has hot and cold games. I don't know why. And obviously, Jameis is going to come out against a pretty decent defense and probably give away 3 picks. Who's Tampa's backup? Because we'll probably see him this week.
They'll find Glenn.
Ryan Griffin.
Yeah.
All right.
Peterman's on the trade block.
Quick thing. Instead of doing a full breakdown here, we should probably just go ahead and move this along a little quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your pick, Kevin?
Carolina.
Andy, what do you got?
Carolina.
Solid take for Panthers on every front there. I'm going to go back here to, let's see, let's do this and then this. All right. So next week, or the next game will be the week 2 start. Oh my God. What the hell is my computer doing? Sorry. I apologize.
Stop running all the porn in the background.
Well, I can't help it. I got to do something.
Cardinals and Ravens. Who you got, Andy?
Ravens.
Who's at home?
Cardinals
Ravens,
at the Ravens.
Ravens.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Ravens on this one. I'm not going to be dumb this time.
Lamar Jackson isn't done yet.
Chase, what do you got?
Ravens for me.
Ravens it is. Kevin.
Yeah, clean sweep.
Another clean sweeper with the Ravens. We're all buying into the Ravens hype.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be a pretty close game, actually.
San Francisco at Cincinnati. I honestly don't know that I can't. I got to go with the 49ers. I think this Bengals team is horrible. Chase, what do you got?
Niners.
Kevin?
Niners. John Ross is going to go over the middle and get his fucking neck broke. Screw you, Andy.
Andy, what do you got?
Bengals, because fuck you, Kevin.
Valid. All right. All right. So Andy's the only one that took the Bengals. Everybody's going with the Niners in that one. Another 1:00 game. Chargers at Detroit. Just the sheer fact that Detroit tied the Cardinals makes me say the Chargers are going to win this one. What do you got, Jace?
I think if anybody in the Detroit front office was smart, they'd take Matt Patricia's pencil and stick it his eyeball. Chargers by a mile.
Kevin?
Detroit.
Ooh, going with the Lions. All right. What do you got, Andy?
Bolts.
Bolts for days. All right.
I hate that fucking pencil.
I hate your fucking stupid fucking pencil.
So I think that Kevin is the only one going with the Lions on that one. Everybody's going Chargers, going with the home team. Minnesota at Green Bay, another big division game. I have to go with Green Bay at home. I can't go against them. So Packers for me. Jace, what do you got?
I have zero faith in Kirk Cousins. Packers at home.
There you go. Kevin.
I'm going Green Bay. I heard Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show the other day, and he's hilarious. And now my favorite person ever. So Packers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is hilarious.
Andy, what do you got?
I'm actually going to go Minnesota on this one because I think this is going to be the one. This is going to be the big miscue where all the Minnesota fans jump on Kirk Cousins' back, and he's going to lead them to a fucking win in Lambeau, and everybody's going to be all about Kirk Cousins, and then he's going to fucking flop. So I'm taking Minnesota.
All right.
You're taking Minnesota because you have faith that Minnesota is going to suck eventually.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins is going to have a huge game. I'm telling you.
I like your logic.
You guys fucking
weirdo.
Fucking
all right,
weirdo.
Yeah. That's a
Threw the ball
bass
10 times
way of
last
looking
week.
at things. Okay.
All right, next game, 2 0-1 teams, Jacksonville at Houston. I think Houston is a much better team, so I got to go with the Texans on this. That Jaguars defense looks crap. Jace.
Texans for me.
All right. What do
I'm
you
going
got?
to go Houston, but I'm going to go with it being a close game because Houston's defense isn't that good either.
Good call.
And
Andy?
Gardner Minshew.
Houston.
Yeah, you can't really go against them right now when they're playing Gardner Minshew. All right.
Gardner Minshew was awesome. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but it was coming out. Nobody's got tape on this dude. Now they do. Watch it.
1 week.
I'm just saying.
1 week.
He's going to start
all right.
growing back the mustache and a mullet. You watch.
Shut the hell up. New England at Miami. This is notorious. One of those games that Kraft's getting a tug and pug, a rub and tug.
Tug and pug.
Tug and pug. He's getting a rub and tug down in Miami.
Where can I go? Because I love a pug.
I need a tug and pug.
I'm not so concerned about the tug. Give me a pug.
Just give me the pug.
Yeah.
I obviously am going New England. I don't think you can go against New England right now. I fucking hate everything about the Patriots. Go on.
I think
Jace.
their entire team can go for a tug and pug, and they'll still lose. So I'm taking New England.
Jace, what do you got?
Yeah, this isn't the normal Miami team. They're not even like 6-10 good. It's a team that usually gives the Patriots a black eye. It's gonna be ugly, very ugly. Patriots by a wide margin.
What do you got?
Don't even ask.
Yeah. All right. Everybody's going Patriots there, which is pretty much just an automatic win there. Next one at 1:00, Buffalo.
It's going to be Andy Stewart ugly.
Buffalo at the Giants.
What did I do?
I have a hard time believing in this Giants team at all, so I'm definitely going Buffalo on this one.
Buffalo, John Brown's going to have a big game.
Yes. Thank God, because I picked him up. Kevin?
Buffalo.
All right. Andy?
The Bills' running back room is going to lead them to another victory.
That's what you do.
Do they have Wendell
right
Smallwood?
there. That's
They have Wendell Smallwood. Everyone does.
Has anybody located Wendell Smallwood?
Yeah, tag Wendell
We need to get
Smallwood.
some milk cartons ready.
I
to
tagged
find
Wendell Smallwood on our Instagram post.
That's awesome. All right, next game, Seattle at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh being home, I think they're going to right the ship a little bit, get some chemistry going. I got to go with Pittsburgh on this one. Jace?
Hate to tell you, but you guys are about to be 0-2 Seahawks.
Kevin, what do you got?
Pittsburgh, Seattle's defense isn't all that great.
And Andy?
Pittsburgh.
All right. So Jace is the only one going against Pittsburgh, even though he picked them over the Pats last week, which is absolutely insane. All right, and next game will be Indianapolis in Tennessee. Is Tennessee going to be the team we saw versus the Browns, or is it Indy? I think Indy goes in here and wins it. I'm going with the Colts on this one. Brissett has a great game. Jace?
Titans. Defense clamps down on Brissett.
Kevin?
I'm going to go Indy because Andy's holding up that goddamn Titans jersey.
Logical. And Andy, I believe you're going with the Titans?
Yes.
All right. That last 1:00 game is Dallas at Washington. We both have all talked up Washington a little bit, but I still feel that this Dallas team is actually the real deal this year. So I'm going with Cowboys. Jace. You know you're always after me.
Cowboys.
Kevin.
Washington.
Ooh, Redskins pick. Okay. Redskins it is. And Andy.
Cowgirls.
All righty then. All right, got the Cowgirls on that one. Starting into our 4:00 games, Kansas City at Oakland. Notorious division rival there. I'm going to have to go with Kansas City. I can't go against Mahomes yet. Chiefs it is. Jace, I know who you're picking. Raiders it is.
Yeah.
Kevin, what do you got?
I'm going to go with the Raiders.
All right, and then Andy, who you got?
The Chiefs.
Oh, wow.
You guys are smoking. Yeah, I was going to say, you guys are smoking crack. If you think the Raiders
Surprise.
Oakland's taking one of the two, and I would guess for them taking them in Oakland because there's not going to be one Chiefs fan in the stadium.
All right, next 4:00 game.
Parking lot.
Chicago at Denver. They'll be playing a Mile High, but I feel like Chicago's defense is just too good. And I think Trubisky kind of rights his own ship there. Bears win.
I think Khalil Mack, I watched him This is my weekly. I miss you, Khalil Mack.
Here it is.
That game he had 5 sacks and absolutely devastated Brock Osweiler was the greatest thing ever. And
Can I
he
say it?
probably does something. Go right ahead.
Rock and roll, baby.
There you go. Bears, Trubisky. I don't think he has a great game, but defense is going to save him.
Gets better. Kevin.
Duh, Bears.
Andy.
Big Trubisky resurgence. Going with the Bears.
All right. Bears it for everybody. Everybody's guessing relatively close. There's usually just one difference so far.
Besides, took the Bengals.
Yeah,
Jeez.
you're an idiot. That's
Should have
okay.
done that.
New
You guys
Orleans
watch.
at the Rams. This is what the NFC Championship all over again. I love the fact that all the Saints fans were wearing referee outfits. I thought that was amazing. That was hilarious. I can't go against New Orleans. Drew Brees is fucking amazing. Saints it is.
Rams roll at home.
All right, Rams. Kevin.
Great minds think alike.
Rams it is. And Andy.
I can't get away from the Saints. I mean, Drew Brees looked too good. Jared Goff's good, but I mean, I don't want to talk anymore.
This has essentially become me and Kevin versus you and Andy.
Yeah, it really has. Philly at Atlanta. Is Atlanta still going to fall on his face? Is Philly going to dominate? Yes, that's exactly what's going to happen. Eagles all the way.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Kevin.
The Dirty Birds are going to get shit on by the Eagles.
Bird for bird. And Andy, what do we got?
Yeah, Eagles.
All right, Eagles it is. And then last but not least, Cleveland at the New York Jets. Jets. I hate to say it, but the Browns are going to right the ship. They're going to perform a lot better this week. I'm going with the Browns.
Browns bounce back big.
All right, Kevin.
New York figures their shit out, and they take it to the Browns.
Ooh, okay. What do you got, Andy?
Baker Mayfield is going to shotgun 3 beers in the parking lot and then go in and beat the absolute shit out of the Jets.
All right. So there you have it, everyone. I will be posting those picks shortly. We have everybody down and out on that one. It looks actually like we're all relatively similar, just a few different ones here and there. So nothing crazy this week, compared to week 1. So will we gain on Andy and Kevin, or will we not? That's the real question. Really, that is all I actually have on the majority of things. I mean, on the injury front, there was a few big ones. With Tyreek Hill going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. Obviously, Nick Foles going down with a broken collarbone spells disaster for the Jaguars. Not a
Gardner
humongous amount.
Minshew.
I just don't believe it. Shut up.
Devin Funchess. Josh Dobbs.
Funchess breaking his collarbone. A lot of collarbones in week 1. Geis being down for a little while. Mixon had a sprained ankle that they kind of believe is not going to be as heavily or not a heavy injury like they kind of were expecting it to be. So he's actually day-to-day. So that's a good thing. And I believe, is AJ Green injured again? I should just assume that every week. So on my closing segment, Steelers, get your fucking shit together in the front office.
Fuck you, Eli Manning.
Kevin.
Wendell Smallwood, follow us.
Yeah. Kevin, glad to be rolling with you on picks this week. I'm glad I'm picking with the guy who's in the lead, not you two fucking idiots.
I'm in the fucking
you'll
lead
be up,
too, dickbag.
You stick with me, Jason. We'll go places.
That's right.
Yes.
All right. As always, everybody, follow us on Facebook. We have our Instagram, our Twitter. We now have our website up and running. All the Rage at Webley. Just come join us. You can donate to our PayPal there if you like what you see, so we can keep this going for you guys every week. We try to get better every week for you, everyone out there. Sorry it once again went long for us again today. Yeah. When we just get into our rage talk, we just don't stop. But yeah, we're going to keep this going for you. We'll see you next week, and I'll post all the predictions on our Facebook page and webpage. along with the episode being up here shortly. So thank you for tuning in to All the Rage Sports Podcast. Tune in next Wednesday when we talk about our week 2 predictions, how horrible we were, and see what we were right on. Maybe we get better. Who knows? All right. Thank you so much. You have a great night.